My name is Karina Cabrera, and this is an overview of my work in the last 10 years inside the Ocas University. Because I Love You is a fanzine that I created in level 1. It's done with ink, and I'm very proud of the technique that I use for these drawings. I will use it again and again and again over the years. About the scene, I'm very proud of the mood that the scene has. However, because I didn't know how to create a story in drawing, the two female characters that were really important in this story were indistinguishable from each other. So it was more a failure than a success as a scene. But the drawings are very nice, so I like it. This is another scene that I created in level 1. It's done with watercolors, and I love the palette color that I use, and I think it's fantastic. And it's also a very dark story based on a horror folklore story from Venezuelan folklore. Unfortunately, it has the same problems that it has the first story, because I didn't know how to translate into drawings the story. I choose things that I didn't add to the story and make it very difficult for the reader to read. As an individual pieces are beautiful, I love them, but as a story, it lacks sense. For this project, I create 3 different dioramas in order to take pictures. I love the process of creating the dioramas. It was fantastic. However, because they are nightmares, I wanted to be as dark as possible, making very difficult to take pictures. It was very complicated. I couldn't get the light precisely on the subject. It was a lot of learning photography. That's something that I'm not quite interested in. So it was very difficult to do this for me. But the creation of the dioramas was fantastic. So I discovered that I like to create sculptures with my hands. So it's something that I will use later. I decided to illustrate a book of poetry, also for level 2. It's called Como Si. I will be honest, I think most of the drawings for these are very good, very decent. However, the cover is horrendous, and I think that it will have been better doing in a different way. Um, if I do this again, I will do it differently. The sea. The sea is the granddaughter of 2 different projects. First is the monotypes that I use to create the sea. The second project, I use the monoprints to create a scene called the sea, and I use that in order to create the pieces that you are seeing now with embroidery. It was a very long process to use those monoprints into something that I really like. Note that I have never used cyanotype before, and the reason why I did it is because I wanted to participate in an exhibition for a Darung group. I was in the group because I wanted to develop cyanotypes, but I wasn't ready for this, and even though I wasn't ready, it's really good work. Another cyanotype, after I did the C, I realized that cyanotype is something that I love. This project was really nice. It was a combination of a project about a city that I like, using cyanotype that are also very fascinating, using my own drawings and embroidery. I think it's a very nice project if it wasn't because the way I presented. The way I saw the work into the cardboard was not the best. And because it's something that is not printed, is everything done by hand. When you are doing it, is already lost. So if I do something similar in the future, I will make sure that I finishing differently. From my perspective, is another interesting work that I did in level 3. This is also part of the C project that I mentioned before. These also monoprints that I did based on the C. This is for the first time I printed my monoprints in paper and I glue it to the fabric. All the details that you see on top come from recycled threads, fabric, beads, and it's a very texture work. And I actually was very happy the way it looks. By researching for the project of the sea, I did like 100 monoprints, and I never used them, so some of them are not even scanned. And I think it will be quite fantastic to see this work used, and I would like to embroider them. The Beacon of Dreams is one of my final work last year. I'm not very happy with this project, and I love it at the same time. From my perspective, this was research. The a scene where is a boat in the left corner. This is a more final work. However, the others where I experimented with different type of clay. I used some color clay. It deteriorate really quickly. I tried to experiment with baking times, and because it's inside a team, sometimes it was complicated. So it's not the best aesthetically, but it is a lot of work and a lot of learning process behind this work. And I would like to do something similar again. Because I was talking about my work and I also wanted to talk about my process, I realized that if I only have one project, I feel like I get stuck and I need to keep working in the same project, and that doesn't work for me. If I have a different project that I can use as a distraction, my brain is still working in the other project. So when I find a solution, I'm going back and fix the problem. But that's something that happened with the team because I didn't have any other project that have the same quality as this one. I keep working in the project, making very difficult at the end to finish it. So I'm not so sure having one project at a time is the best option for me. Well, the last part is language. My way of working. I realized that I have a palette of colors that I consistent use. It's not that I cannot use any other color, but I'm very consistent in the colors that I like. I also the themes. I realized that I am interested in folklore and history, and I write my own stories. I like things that are a little bit darker rather than flowers and being girly. I make this distinction because when I started university, I wanted to do more girly things, and I realized that that wasn't me. And another thing that I realized, I like things that have a lot of texture, a lot of I don't know how to say, but they have a lot of impact visually. And I think that dioramas and embroidery are things that I could use later on for that purpose.